Okay, hello everyone, cartoonists and cartoon lovers. We're back to the cartoon pad. It's been a long time. So much time has passed that the whole world has changed since. Everything has changed but Michael Shaw. He's still working with the old technology. But hello, Marty. Marty, I know you have some modern equipment to usher us into 2023. Can you give us an example? That's called science advancement. It's very nice.
Hello, boys.
And Michael, how are you doing?
I'm back, Bob, and I feel like $1 million.
That's
Green
the way to do it.
wrinkly.
Drown out Michael.
I'm back, Bob, and I feel like $1 million. Green and wrinkly.
Michael, you have been missing for 2 months. Not that anyone noticed the first month. What have you been up to? What was this vow of silence?
Well, I was honestly, Bob, I don't know, but I can just quote one of my favorite songs. They wanted me to go to rehab, and I said no, no, no. So
Okay.
I think that's enough.
Is this a cotton candy addiction that you've fallen back
into? No. Okay, this is time for Health Talk with Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob. So I was trying to become healthy, and I was attacked by an elliptical machine, and now I have a bedeviling sciatic nerve irritation.
Oh, I have a slip disc that I've had since I was 18. And yeah, it's incredibly painful.
Yes, and a fine point is it's the nerve itself that's irritated. So you have a slip disc, but I don't. I just have an irritated nerve, which results in a constant pain in the ass, which I think is karma.
Our audience wants to know if it's affecting your drawing hand.
It's affecting my drawing ass.
There's a lot of stuff you can do though. So my first time my back went out, and this is hereditary because this happens to my mom, this happens to my grandfather. It was just like I think certain people just have discs that slip more than others, and mine.
You're a weak-spined people, Marty.
I guess, and they always tell you, they're like, oh, you need to build up your core strength. You got to do lots of back muscle exercises, and you have to have like basically abs of steel to hold your spine together.
Yes,
and
or a piriformis belt.
Yeah, wearing basically a corset is great for your back. So
Marty, Bob left, by the way. I've been wearing my wife's Spanx, so I'm not proud of that.
Hey, they have a whole line of men's Spanx now too, so don't worry.
I know, but they were at the house, and they were available.
Squeeze it all in.
There was some major squeezage.
But there's all kinds of great PT you can do that I do often, sometimes daily when I get into a good routine that will get your spine and your nerves back together again.
Okay, right. No, I have to agree with Bob on this. Now it's time for tune talk, not spine talk. We're moving on.
My
nice
pivot. My one advice for that though is always ice over heat. Do not use heat. Heat is useless. Ice is the only thing that'll help your back and your nerves and your spine and your discs.
Lord. Can I put the ice in my gin and tonic?
Yes, but first put it on your back and lay flat on the floor. Got to lay flat on the floor. I did get a very nice note from a fellow professional cartoonist, Drew Panckeri, who's fantastic, and I love his work, and he's a New Yorker guy, and he's been in everything, right? He's all over the place, this guy. And he wrote to me, hope all is well. I've been listening to quite a few episodes of the Cartoon Pad, and they are not only entertaining, but they offer valuable constellation for someone who's chosen cartooning as a profession. So thanks for that.
Well, thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Drew. And since we're on the topic of talking about cartoonists, I saw a fantastic cartoon by a cartoonist we know, Dave Gomberg, who had a cartoon in the Times of London. Beautiful cartoon.
Oh, Lord. Fancy that. Well, I can top that. A cartoonist we know has had a cartoon published in the January 30th, 2023 issue, and that would be our own Bob Eckstein. So explain that cartoon, Bob. Because I don't get it. It seems horrible.
Well, it's the snowman about to meet his end with a snowplow. And that did appear in last week's. And it was good to be back in the magazine. It's been a long time since I had a cartoon inside the magazine and not the cartoon contest. I did get a lot of good feedback. I heard from all these different people who have inspired me in the past. And out of the blue, I heard from like Jack Handy and Alan Zabel and Fran Leibowitz. They all kind of dropped me a note saying they liked the cartoon.
Oh, they said you're still alive?
Yeah, they wanted to know what happened. So, it's great to be back. It's weird. It used to be.
Explain the provenance of this cartoon. When was it first submitted?
This cartoon's been floating around for 2 years in their cartoon bank. That's when they buy a cartoon, they put it in storage until they find the right time to use it. And with me, it usually means they wait for some kind of sort of a connection to a tragedy. In this case, there was that actor who got almost killed by a snowplow. And I thought to myself, well, thank God my cartoon hasn't appeared. And sure enough, that's when it shows up in the magazine.
They said, we have to wait for Jeremy Renner, beloved actor, to get run over by a snowplow. That's a good time for us to put this snowman cartoon in.
I don't. How did that happen? Was he on his iPhone? Is it the actual?
No,
recreation?
He was on this crazy big, like one of these like big commercial snowplows that people use when they have big property to do, and it was gonna run over his nephew or something like that, and he jumped off of it, and he like jumped on the belt. It was like one of these things that has like a tank, like the big tank. And he he tried to stop it, and the thing just ran him over.
He was a hero.
He was a hero. He saved.
He was a hero.
Yeah.
I didn't want to draw that. It was too difficult to draw, but you get the idea.
Yeah. I just, Bob. So to be clear about this to our listening audience, it's a snowman or snow person. I mean, looking at his or her iPhone or smart device about to be impaled, and I want to know, was this set up so he would hit it, or is this an actual snowman, or is this a humanized snow person doing something?
I love how we picked up right where we left off last year, just total confusion and muddleness.
Well, Bob, you told me that you also told me cartoonists loathe rabbit holes. So I present to you your first rabbit hole of 2023. Go.
Yeah, no, this is good. I think your question was how I came up with the idea. I'm trying to bail you out here.
Bob, how do you come up with your ideas?
Yeah. Everyone's got their own way. There's no one specific way, but there's tendencies of how you would come up with ideas. And in my case, I'm always trying to think of something to say that's not funny, and then how do you turn it on its head and you try to make it funny, and then you try to think of a scene that you would like to draw or enjoy drawing, and then you try to shoehorn it into a cartoon. I don't think that's
I noticed your signature is not smiling. The line underneath is straight, so it's a little bemused, not amused. So I think it's a lovely drawing. In fact, it feels so well done, it's almost retro. You've reached the old school level. I mean, you go through other examples and they don't quite have the virtuosity that yours does. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take that as a compliment. I think
it is.
There's another cartoon that reminded me of where I got into trouble, which is, I decided I was going to try to do a cartoon about everyone's doorway be flooded with menus and pamphlets when they come home from a vacation. In New York City, that's what would happen. People have this stuff piled up. So then I thought, well, I could do that in front of a cave. And if there was a big boulder in front of a cave, just have like pamphlets and stuff that would be kind of funny, no caption. So sure enough, they buy this cartoon years ago. It's been sitting away in storage, collecting dust. But when they bring it out,
Easter.
Yeah. Right. So then it's confused.
No, it's a great Easter cartoon. It's Jesus is dead and he's rising from the grave. And while he's been dead, tons of takeout menus.
Well, I didn't mean to be that. And it becomes a whole different ball of wax. And it does offend people. And it's another example of like,
that's not offensive.
No. So Bob hates Hawkeye and he hates Jesus. But
well, I'm Catholic, but I think that people.
Eckstein, I don't think so, Bob. Come on.
Well,
I'm a bad Catholic, and I think it's funny.
I think that any cartoon could be construed as offensive in some way or another. You could kind of shape it into something that's didn't mean to be, and there could be a misunderstanding. And next thing you know, there's someone out there who's offended. I saw this in the cartoons that were printed in Instagram. The New Yorker runs some cartoons, and there's always comments to some cartoons that people saw it in a way that I didn't think of, but they find a way that it's in some way offensive to some group.
Yes, if you don't offend, insult, or enrage, you're not trying. So, you're drawing Family Circus. Stop.
Yep. Well, listen, I have fan mail for the show, so let me read one thing, and then we'll move on to 3 questions. Well, this is not so much a question, but a compliment. It's not signed. It says, "Thanks for taking a sabbatical." I think that's more for you than me.
We are both in academia. Bob is a adjunct full professor, which is very rare. Are you still teaching, Bob?
I'm only teaching one-on-one a little bit. My semester didn't start yet, and I don't know if I'm going to join because I'm having a hard time finishing work, and I'm dealing with some taking care of stuff. So I'm thinking about taking
Bob,
off.
We make something up. That's just a buzzkill, man.
He's moving into still teaching. He's still teaching, but it's modern dance. It's modern dance.
No, it's with it's with DeVry. It's good. DeVry is nice. Don't worry, Bob.
Well, I'm going to be doing some talks at universities, which I like because it's sort of a hit and run. And then it's kind of like get out my message and then move on and don't have to do the grading and the schoolwork.
Bob, that's what kind of celebrities do just before they die, like Groucho Marx or, Fred Gwynn, his famous college tour. It's your final hurrah.
Any excuse to get away from teaching, though, because as my teacher friends have discussed with me, that there's this ongoing common problem, which the students want only an A, and they only really want the grade. A lot of them just don't really want to take the time and really take the class. Instead, it's become something else. And it's been such a muddle. I just want to take a break from it.
Because everybody wants to just go to the internet and be an influencer, Bob. They want to just get the likes. Forget college. I want people to give me the likes, and then I can get free coconut water.
We
whatever it is.
As I've spent the last 8-ish years in higher education, you go to college to make your mind a nicer place to live in. And if you can't do that, don't go to college. That's a
really nice thought, but it's changed.
Yes. No, it hasn't changed.
Let's pivot into the 3
immutable, sir. Immutable.
Let's pivot into the
Wordle
3 questions.
Is immutable.
Oh, speaking of Wordle there, Wordle, are you enjoying this new lingo on television?
I've not watched it.
It's a TV version of Lingo, of Wordle, except that Lingo, because I looked this all up, I was like, how could they make it? Lingo existed in the early 80s as a TV game show. And then Wordle was just ripping it off. Of course, all of them ripped off Hangman, which has existed for a very long time. So everything's kind of a derivative of everything else. But Lingo seems to be a fun game to watch because it's much faster than Wordle. It's like having 1,000 Wordles in 30 minutes. And then there's cash prize. There's money and there's points and all kinds of stuff.
I haven't watched a primetime quiz show since Match Game 92. So,
oh guys, our one listener, Paul, is sitting up listening to us. He's a Wordle
Paul.
guy.
Okay, hi, Paul.
Yeah. No, let me pivot to the questions so we can all get out of here at a decent hour. And
Okay.
I'm going to make a segue to what we were just talking about. I do 3 questions with my interviews with humorists. I've been trying to interview like very big names in comedy and get their answers to these, but I'm going to ask Michael today. And that
Michael,
is
wait. Michael Palin?
No, I'm going to.
Hello, I'm Michael Palin. Okay, go ahead, Bob. We're such good friends. Hold the pole and all that.
I am going to
right now.
I am going to interview
on
Michael.
my way to Kula.
Not tonight, though. Tonight, Michael Shaw.
No, it's Michael Palin. Hello, everyone.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Okay, here we go.
It is terrible, isn't it?
Michael, social media, okay?
Social media.
Many pros have been worried that all these outlets are drowning out their work, that anybody could be a comic or a cartoonist. And I'm asking someone who has 0 or almost no online personality.
Yes.
Michael, how do you feel about this? The fact that right now, part of our job description is to have an online presence.
Oh, I didn't get onboarded. I just started working. So send me my job description. I appreciate it. Anyway, I agree. What was the question?
Well, I mean, in general, it has a leveled the playing field. Everyone seems
yeah.
Walk
Okay.
up to the
this
open
is
mic.
my primary career has always been as a copywriter. And there's all these books out now, my favorite being Anyone Can Write. And I said, yes, anyone can, but not well, and mostly badly. And it's the same way with cartoonists. It's just anyone can be a cartoonist. I mean, draw a stick figure, make $1 million, but most of it's not going to be good. So it's sort of it's entered the world of the hobby, maybe. What do you think?
No,
Bob?
I don't know if anyone's making a lot of money.
No one's making.
I heard from Kim
Bob,
Warp
except
today.
for you, Bob. Make it. You're really doing well.
I heard from Kim Warp today, who's like an
yes,
amazing
I love
cartoonist.
Kim's work.
Yeah, she's amazing. But we were talking about how easy it is to sort of make the living just from cartooning, and
I've never done that, but good luck to those who have. Bob.
Well, I mean, exactly, but there are ways, and
tell me, Bob. I want to make a living cartooning, man. It's hard work and 8 full time in cartooning. Anyway.
Well, I mean, we could talk about that for one moment. How do you make a living from cartooning? And that is, to me, and I was talking about this in the middle of the night.
All right.
I was doing some homework with people sending me some short stories, reviewing them. And you're right. Everyone thinks they could write funny, but it's not that easy. And it stands out immediately. I was trying to write out exactly why is it that some people's work just doesn't quite, not at the professional level. But as far as cartooning goes, the answer to me is that you have to find an audience, your own particular audience, and then follow that specialty. And the people who have been able to make a living from this, there are certain people who have become experts in different subjects. An example is
names.
Amy Wang is an example whose cartoons I see in like these wine magazines and stuff. So she's found a sort of a special audience in which she's going to do cartoons on a specific subject. To any general subject and expect 2 people at the New Yorker to approve it, green light it, and get you in, you're counting on some very steep odds. It's very hard to make a living that way. And the way to better your odds is to sort of find yourself a little street corner and become a specialist. I mean, I do that a little bit where I'm doing cartoons that have to do with sports. And my clients are gambling websites that have money. And that's where I kind of tap into is
Bob, are they North or South Korean? I need to know this for security.
No, but sports betting now in this country is a huge business. But there's a lot of new business taking off. I mean, if somebody was to say they were going to do, medicinal pot, do cartoons all about that. There are publications coming up. Ellis Rosen's an example. He was a guest on our show. His niche for a time is pickleball, and he came out with a pickleball book, and he works for Pickleball Magazine. And that's Lord. An example of a working business model. So my advice to cartoonists is to find your passion and specifically target an audience, develop a platform in which you're going to attack and say, understand that there's all these magazines that are invisible that you can make a living from. Magazines that are trade magazines within a company. Banks have these newsletters. I'm working for the Sovereign newsletter that's in publishing, and their subscription is 900,000 subscribers. So, I mean, there's an audience that you would never think of, and that's a way of sort of, making ends meet.
I did that once. We talked about this. A razor company that will remain anonymous because they forgot who it was. And I tried it for about 6 months and I couldn't do it anymore. So, Bob, you have wherewithal I cannot muster.
No, but it's doable. I'm trying to be encouraging to people who are listening, who are thinking, well, this is really a tough business. It really is.
It is a tough business.
It is. But I'm trying to say that you just have to expand the net that you toss out to the ocean. I have this newsletter called The Bob, and in the next issue, I list like 40 different markets that you can submit your humor writing to. And it's one way of seeing some new markets that you might not be familiar with. If anybody wants to get this newsletter, it's free. It's called The Bob.
Bob, how do I request The Bob? Because I'm interested.
You either could email me your email address at snowmanexpert@gmail.com, or you could go to my website, bobeckstein.com, and then it'll prompt you if you want to get the newsletter. And I'm going to be including like writing advice, and I'm not trying to pretend I know all this stuff, but I'm tapping into all these experts who have been helping me, giving me their advice. And I've been just collecting it, making it easy to digest and making it very accessible for people to see it in one place. I
understand there's some swell recipes too.
There's no recipes. There was last year when it was less a teaching thing, but I'm getting away from recipes. But Michael, it used to be that when we all used to meet for lunch, that in a way was the class. There used to be sort of a master class that went on with the cartoonists at the New Yorker, where you'd sit down and you'd get these tips and advice from these great veterans who were, going to give you their wisdom.
Bob, I'll never forget when I was at the Pergola d'Artiste having the lamb shank special. And there was a special menu for the cartoonist, and I ordered from it freely. And I was having delightful banter and nearly never going down a rabbit hole, by the way, but having a delightful conversation. And I met Sam Gross for the first time, and he told me, "You owe me $22.30, so plus the tip. So figure it out, college boy."
I just had lunch with Raj Chaz, and
what did she have? I want to know. Wait, what did she have for lunch?
She had the grilled cheese. But
okay.
I had lunch one-on-one with her. It was, invaluable as a cartoonist to get a chance to just, soak in her observations. We talk about shop and other things. We were actually going off to see Sam and cheer him on. He's been doing well. But this is something that's just more and more rare, where you get a chance to sort of to sit down with the people who kind of blaze the trail for this field.
Not me. Living in Manitowoc, I strode down the sidewalk and I had to step over the cartoonists. There's so many of them. So,
but are you looking at cartoons?
That's a world I never. That's actually a world I never knew. My cartooning relationships are all through the Ethernet and or written word. So I admire.
Are you looking at cartoons? Like, what do you do for inspiration?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't like looking at cartoons because I don't want to see them. I want my stuff to bubble up from regions unknown. So I will not. I will, but I won't admit it. But I don't like to look at other cartoons when I'm trying to draw one. So there you go.
And so specifically, what's bubbling up for you? What comes up? I mean, not specifically what cartoon, but
okay, this
in
is
general
interesting.
terms of how you work.
Yes. So I've decided that, and I think you've kind of gone there too, like drawing people is not going to, like creating people-based situations is probably not going to create a lot of success for me. So I'm going with anything but a person. Birds, cats.
So in other words, your first thing is to make it visually interesting.
Yeah,
but
no, it'll start with me hearing something and like, okay, oh yeah, and then I will like respond to it mentally, and then kind of like you said, got to turn it on its ear. That's a very good way of looking at it.
Well, so there's two things going on at once. One is to find yourself in a playful state in which you are allowing your mind to just wander and not feel you have to be productive. Once you feel like you have to get something done, there's sort of a weight that you've placed on yourself that is going to keep you from being as creative as you could be. So instead, if you're playful, you're not afraid to make mistakes, and a happy accident could happen where you come across an idea that you wouldn't have thought of if you felt like you were doing it on deadline.
Right. Well, but I work in an irritated state. I need irritation. I need conflict.
No, but I understand that too, though. But that could be in the category of picking on a grievance. Like if something bothered you, something happened to you on the drive-through, and you're watching people, getting their shakes, and you're waiting in line behind somebody. There could be that moment that triggered a cartoon idea. But then the next level after playfulness, to me, is the second stage is trying to make it smart. You're not just doing humor, and this is not a criteria for magazines, but for me, I'm trying to make the humor smart. And this comes from my friends in comedy who were always advising me. I have a close friend who's a writing partner. He's a bestseller. He's a former Saturday Night Live writer. And he's always telling me when we're looking at jokes, he goes, is it smart though? It's not enough. If it's funny, it's still not enough. He will throw out a joke, even if it's very funny, but he says it needs to be smart. And that was a criteria in the writing rooms when he used to work with the people at Saturday Night Live. They would ask themselves,
smart, what level of smart are we talking about? Lowbrow, middlebrow? You say I'm always too inside baseball. So
it's smart.
What the hell are you talking about, Bob?
The reader would say that it's clever. They would find it clever. There's a eureka moment for the viewer that says, oh, I participated and I engaged with the cartoonist and the cartoon in this because it took me to piece together exactly what the joke was. It wasn't so on the surface. It wasn't toilet humor or just a practical joke, something corny, but it required the intervention of a third party to piece together to make it work.
In other words, it's not funny.
It can be funny and clever. That's the puzzle. That's the challenge. And then throw into the mix the challenge of also making it politically correct. And often right now a trend is to make things so self-conscious and confessional so that the viewer feels like you're being personal with them, that you're not talking in another room.
Bob, that just didn't land right to me. I think we need to talk about this off air. I mean, I'm shocked you said that.
This is all based on your cartoons.
I want to offend. I want to shock. I want people gasping. That's what I want.
Yeah, but then
and that's not even cartoons. I just want them that generally.
Well, then that brings up the question of this. When people say, like I was always advised early on by Sam Gross and others, they said, well, just do what makes you laugh. But then working in a vacuum doesn't accomplish anything, in my opinion, because part of the responsibility of a cartoonist and an illustrator or a writer, or even a stand-up, is that you got to communicate. If you're not communicating, then you haven't done your job right. If you're not getting your joke or message across, then some way or another you've missed a link.
I am the missing link. So my cartooning philosophy, which I learned at the University of Missouri School of Journalism, was to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable, which is exactly what my cartoons do, hopefully in a humorous manner. Thank you. So there will be a test later, and we want you to submit your essays to Professor Eckstein, and he'll get them graded sooner than later.
Let's do our announcements. We have announcements for cartoonists.
We were going to do that at the front of the show, I thought.
No, we'll do it right now.
Okay, wait, I have to give you an intro. And now with a new feature we call Talk of the Tunes, it's Bob Eckstein. Take it away, Bob.
So we have a congratulations to CCCP. The Cartoon Caption Contest podcast is coming up to their 100th episode.
Hold on, where'd Marty go? We need applause here. Marty left. Oh, yay!
They actually have a party coming up to celebrate.
That's good.
I'm just looking at this in my notes. I'm thinking, we got to talk to them about changing their names, because CCCP stands for Russia.
Yeah, isn't that what used to be on all the old missiles?
Yeah. Maybe we could give them a new name for their podcast. Make it clear that there's no affiliation. What we should do is, I'm going to suggest adding another C. We just make it CCCCP, the Cartoon Caption Contest Chat Podcast. There you go. All right, so I solved that.
Oh,
I'm a problem.
I have to say, I do enjoy the whole caption contest gang kingdom and their queen Lawler, Beth.
Well, Paul is coming out from Wisconsin. Are you coming along with him and carpooling? He's coming out to New York to be a part of the celebration in March.
I actually met Beth, and then two
Vin.
other. I think maybe was it Beth's husband?
Yeah, and Vin.
Yeah, I met them at Hilary Campbell had a opening at the beginning of January for her. She has a new book in addition to the murder book. She has another cartoon book they had at an art gallery. So all these original cartoons of hers were all up in this art gallery, and there was a delightful opening that I was invited to. I was so happy to be invited to such a nice affair.
I saw the pics, Marty. You were a bon vivant.
Thank you. I tried to pull it together enough to mix and mingle with the elite of New York City's cartoon society. Asher Perlman was there. Jason Chatfield and his lovely wife Sophie were there. Lots of people were there, and it was a fun crowd. It was like, it's kind of a small. It used to be like a laundromat, and now it's an art gallery, but it still has the laundromat, like old-timey New York City grungy sign out front. And it was hot in there, so like the storefront window was all like steamy. It was all steamy and hot inside.
Wait, they still have the machines in?
They don't have the machines. They just have the sign of, there's no machines.
Oh, laundromats are steamy.
Yeah, Michael would have done his laundry while he was there.
I would have.
Yeah, he'd
Marty,
be like,
Marty, can you do me a favor and look up Hilary's book title before we go? Let's mention the name of the book, and we'll move on to one more announcement. We have the National Cartoon Society is conducting a live Zoom session next Monday at 8 p.m. It's for members, but they are encouraging you to join, saying it's easier now. To join the National Cartoon Society, go to nationalcartoonist.com. And this was all from Jason Chatfield, who is still their president. And his Substack newsletter is New York Cartoons. And it's very good. I have subscribed. And you'll see some, fun stuff about New Yorker cartoons there as well. Jason's sort of in the middle of things, still sort of a ringmaster and all around good guy.
Hilary's book is called What Did I Do Today? That's the new book. It's kind of an illustrated little thing where you can actually write. It's kind of like a pseudo sort of home organizer planner, but it's filled with cartoons and things. So it's like it's a functional book, I think.
It's about time she got organized, really.
Yeah, we've been waiting. And Ali Solomon will be here with us the next episode with her new book. And we'll talk all about that when she returns. And I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good.
And everybody has to go out and buy Nick Downs' book, Polly Wants a Lawyer, Cartoons of Murder, Mischief, and Mayhem, available now over on the Amazon or on the bookshop.org in hardcover and softcover.
Yeah, I have one of each, and the hardcover, it looks beautiful. And I've already read the book twice. The cartoons are different in each, so definitely get both.
Oh,
they're not different in each, though. I like that. I like the way that you're telling people that. I appreciate that.
Well, it really is a great collection from a master cartoonist. And if anybody is really struggling with their style and what they're going to do with the cartooning, they're finding a voice. I mean, that's a masterclass right there.
It is really a fun. Also, what's so good about Nick's book is there's a lot of similar tone of cartooning going on right now on the Instagram and stuff that's even in the New Yorker and stuff that's in all of the same magazines. And Nick is so different tonally, style-wise than anything that is out there right now that's just like a regular cartoon. Like a lot of the stuff that's in Nick's book has been published before, but it would not be published today because of the difference in tastes and things that you can't joke about and that kind of taboo, violence, murder, gun violence, all kinds of shit.
Did someone say murder?
And but the way that he presents these jokes, like they're very simple, they're very honest, they're very funny gags. But sometimes they're about things that would be like, oh my God, I can't believe you wrote a joke about that. But like he accomplishes the goal of making the joke. Like the joke lands. So if you have a friend that's a lawyer or a friend that's a criminal, they'll both enjoy this book.
Yes, I consider Nick Downs one of the more Hitchcockian cartoonists.
Well, of course, you heard this before. He
very sinister. Very sinister.
Charles Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Charles Adams took it over the other end. I mean, Downs is a little more like, this could be you. Honestly.
Well, I tell you.
Yeah, there's a great one. There's a great cartoon, just as an example, in it's a cartoon and someone has just been shot on the street corner and there's a crowd of people and there's a cop and there's people and there's a guy and the guy's dead and he's wearing a t-shirt that says innocent bystander and the woman says, I begged him not to wear that shirt.
I feel like the luckiest cartoonist in that I get a chance to get together with Nick every couple of weeks. We go to Chinatown and we work together, and then I see how his mind works, and I will share. Yes,
don't go to Chinatown, man.
That's where all the humorists. I just gave away one of the most.
It's a great area. It's a great area. It's more like don't go to Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
No, I'm talking about Jack Nicholson, Chinatown. Come on.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to, as Bob said, I'm trying to be smart. Smart.
Keep trying.
Keep trying.
Smart.
But anyway, what I wanted to say was that seeing how Nick works and how he comes up with his ideas.
He's very smart. He's so smart. But is he a Smarty?
Again, we pick up right where we left off last year.
I
skip a bit.
I think this train wreck is complete.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention one thing about Nick.
Okay,
and the way
more.
he works is
it's like every time it gets quiet and Bob says, "Okay, I'm going to start talking again." Shaw's like, "Wait! I have to talk right on top of you."
Wait.
Yeah.
Stop. Bob, I have a resolution. I have a resolution for 2023.
Are you waiting until someone says that?
Not to interrupt you. Jeez, you people, work with me. All right, go, Bob. Sorry. It's the Oxycontin. I'll tell you, it's not good. Okay, go.
All right, let's wrap it up. That was another very polished episode of the Cartoon Pad. Everyone, send in your questions for the show and fan mail to snowmanexpert@gmail.com.
I am sorry, Bob.
And my apologies.
Yeah, my apologies too. Good night, everyone. Is that a clap? Come on.